What is going on, folks? CJ here, alongside my man, DJ Sue. What's going on, man?
What's up? We back at it again with another movie for y'all.
Yeah, this is a little different than normal. I feel us as critics, sometimes we manage to get these little things and stuff where we get to see a movie early. And this is different because this is probably like maybe the second time I've seen a movie months ahead of time. Except this one, I can see this getting some Oscar and Golden Globe nominations, and what we were talking about is Just Mercy, which is the true story based off Walter McMillian, who was pretty much was kind of like a woodworker.
Yeah.
They got thrown in jail for a crime he didn't commit, which you've heard before because this is in Alabama, Monroeville, Alabama, and he got thrown in jail for allegedly killing a 18-year-old white woman. And no due process. Well, man, might as well say no due process. Just
no due process. It was just straight up crooked.
Yeah, and he ends up getting help from Bryan Stevenson, who he set up a kind of business. He set up kind of a system where he would be helping, the unfortunate that can't afford lawyers and stuff. Particularly ones that are on death row and stuff. I'll probably say the greatest thing about this movie is that it avoids the trappings of this kind of movie that does like they do based off of biopics or based off of true things when it comes to court cases and such. It doesn't sugarcoat it at all. Like from the beginning, it doesn't sugarcoat. Like it's in Alabama, so the racism is going to be running wild on 1,000.
Not just any Alabama, but this was Alabama in the 80s.
Yeah, late 80s. Yeah, late 80s, Monroeville, Alabama. And, Walter McMillian, basically what happened was he, previously, I guess rewind back. So, regular businessman, in Alabama and stuff, he ended up slipping up and, he cheated on his wife, had an interracial affair with another woman in town and stuff. And as with any small town,
people news travel fast.
Yeah, news travels crazy fast and such. And, and you're a black person in the South, things like that with interracial affairs and stuff, it goes from, oh, that black man to that nigger, oh, he's a drug dealer, he's this and that. There's all these things that he gets lumped on him and stuff. So he's already kind of operating on strike 1 and 2, off break. So when this 18-year-old gets killed and he gets tagged for it due to a very wild ass fucking story that was concocted by somebody else that was also behind bars that basically snitched on them and stuff. I won't even say snitch, basically.
I mean, you can't really say snitch. It's like, because once you find out what happened, and the person in question is Ralph Myers.
Yeah, Ralph Myers.
So when Ralph Myers basically explained later in the movie that he knew that they knew about his weakness about fire. When he was a kid, what was it? When he was a kid, his clothes caught on fire, and of course he suffered, and it's pretty obvious he suffered some level, some degree of burns.
Yeah,
and just to torture him, they put his room next to the kill room, like the execution room. They put his room right next to it. Mm-hmm. So anytime somebody got executed from the electric chair, he could smell it, and that just caused straight up Vietnam flashbacks for him. And he would try to hold his breath, and every breath that he took, he was inhaling it, and it was just driving him crazy. So at that point, he was willing to say whatever the police chief wanted to hear, just to get him out. And sure enough, he was out that very next day.
Yeah,
just by telling a bold-faced, straight up and down lie, and got a poor innocent black man put in prison.
And I think the greatest thing about this movie, too, is as much as the story is about Bryan Stevenson, played by
Michael B. Jordon.
Michael B. Jordon and such, it's more so about Walter and his family. Like, because at one point Bryan is visiting his family because, and again, I thought it was great because most movies would kind of gloss over the family. Like they'll be there, but they're kind of like there as background noise kind of thing. They're not at the forefront because that's something that you rarely see. I think A Time to Kill kind of showed the family dynamic, with Sam Jackson's character and stuff and what happened. And that felt more so, that was more so the town than just his family and stuff. But other movies tend to kind of side skirt that whole thing of like, well, how's the family affected? Because we can all go on about the town, but the fact that the family was very deeply affected by it, I think was great, especially like the son. The son is just like, yo, we're hurting. We feel like we're on death row.
Yeah. And you definitely see it with the family because when Bryan goes from New York all the way down to Alabama to work cases like this, like for people in the same situation as McMillian, he goes to visit the family and not, and according to McMillian, all the lawyers that try to represent him, of course, didn't even care about him.
They never even traveled to his family's house at all. It was just like, oh, we just took the money and dipped.
Yeah.
When the money dried up. And I thought it was great that everybody at first is very wary because let's be real, you're a person on death row, this person saying they're going to do something on the house, you're kind of like wary, like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, some of the people were still apprehensive because they're like, come on, like this don't happen like that. Ain't not even a brother gonna come out of nowhere, with your fancy suits trying to talk like, the white folks and thinking that you can be like them. When, dude, there were so many messages in this movie where I'm like, God,
dog, the sizzle. Okay, look. We're not stupid to racism in this country, right? Like I've only driven through small towns, but I've driven through small towns when I was driving cross country. I've driven through a couple of small towns, but like I never experienced it enough to experience that racism kind of thing. It's just you just drive through it and you just keep it moving kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So like I have to imagine if I did take the time out to drive through those small towns, I probably would experience what Bryan did because he driving from the big city, you driving through the, you're in Monroeville, which there was a running gag earlier on, like, have you checked out the Kill a Mockingbird?
Kill a Mockingbird Museum.
I mean, and it's like, and I love it because it's literally like the white person's like, hey man, I would have voted for Obama 3 times level of like, dog, we get it. You love to Kill a Mockingbird. Like, yo, chill. Like, come on.
I mean, when he goes to visit, like when Bryan goes to visit the, who was it? That was the, God, what was his name? Hold on.
I'm trying to think, was it Irv Richardson or something like that?
I think it was Richardson. No. Herbert Richardson, that was the dude that got, that was the one that actually got, they got executed.
Yeah, they got hit that, bro. Yeah, I got it wrong. My bad. I'm getting them like mixed up and stuff because I was like, hold up, is it him? I don't think it was.
I think it was. Was it? Hold on. Was it David Walker? Yeah. I think it was David Walker.
Yeah, David Walker. Yeah.
So David Walker, when he goes to visit him in Monroeville, even he would push that on him. Like, have you tried checking out the Kill a Mockingbird Museum? Like, I hear it's real nice around this time of year. I'm like, dude, this guy, look, man, this brother did not drive all the way over to Monroeville just to check out a museum. I get it. You're trying to push the museum. We know you love the thing. Stop it. My man is uncovering testimonies that did not show up and they either didn't show up in court, stuff that was just missing and has now been resurfaced. Come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah, Tommy Champion.
Tommy
Champion. Yeah, he's one of those white folks that feels that like he means well. Like, I'm just trying to protect the citizens, but deep down, he has a lot of like diet racism, like me and D say, where it's like. Like you ain't gonna say nigger, but you clearly like, yo, he's black. Of course he did it, kind of thing. And it's like, damn, dude, really? Like,
I mean, even with a bogus statement and with all the evidence pointing in the completely opposite direction away from this one black man, you're gonna go ahead and still convict this one black man, even without with no probable cause, no evidence, no nothing. Just he's black. I know he did it.
Yeah, it's like I'm just trying to protect the citizens, and it's like, and it speaks to just like the criminal justice system like that's been happening for years. Because we're not even going to pretend like this is just a new thing. No, this shit's been happening for years since our grandparents, our parents, our grandparents, great grandparents, or whatever. Where you have police, white police in particular, that don't. And you can probably say police as a whole too, that they instead of just doing their jobs and doing the proper investigation, they would rather just go the easy route.
Yep. Throw a black guy from the poor side of town in jail, not knowing anything about what would happen. Just because it's easy, no one would quote unquote miss him or care, except you completely forget about the fact that this guy has a family. Yeah, and not just a family, but a community of people. Again, from a side of town that you don't particularly care for, because you would never be caught dead being in that side of town because reason/racism.
Yeah, and I mean, I think what makes it work too is because it's like I like Michael B. Jordan as Bryan, because I know some people felt like he was miscast, and there are certain times where I could see it because it's like, and maybe because I'm still fixated on Creed. And like Black Panther, I kind of still see a little bit of Killmonger and like, Adonis in him a little bit and stuff in certain scenes. But like there were still some scenes where like he literally witnesses an execution.
Yeah.
And like you can see like up to that point in the movie, his character experienced a lot of stuff, and I would give Jordon credit to the fact that he really hit those emotions, like the feeling of like helplessness of you're trying to help these people and you're getting hit by every fucking roadblock under the sun.
And it sucks too, man, because when he tried, I mean, he really tried his best to get all these guys that are on death row, especially wrongfully, to get them cleared. And timing sucks, okay?
I mean, come on.
Can I just say that timing really sucks?
Oh, it sucks big time. I mean, man, and that was the crazy part. Like, he witnesses one of the people that he helps on death row, and again, like most movies would have predictably, like, at the 9th hour, oh, we got him off death row, yay! Nope.
This movie took a very realistic approach where
sometimes you can't win it all.
Not only can you not win it all, but it's more of again, I'm gonna joke, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's the Walking Dead scenario where you can't protect them all, Rick.
It really is, because it's like he's this person that Stevenson's coming out of college. He got his law degree, and he's a lawyer and everything. And it's that optimism, like, hey, I'm out here to save everyone, and that's to me is like the crux of what makes him and Walter's relationship work in this movie, which is like, and there's a reason why you have Jamie Foxx and Brie Larson, like both Academy Award winners, like doing a lot of the heavy lifting, because they do kind of help out Michael B. Jordan in this movie. Yeah. In every scene that they're in, whether it's him and Brie Larson or him and Jamie Foxx, like both of them manage to help him kind of elevate the scenes that he's in. Like when he's feeling emotionally at a down point, especially after seeing that execution, here you got Brie's character, Eva, real life person, kind of there to kind of help him over the course of this whole thing, because she's the one that brought him down there to kind of push this initiative. And she don't take shit from off nobody either.
She doesn't, especially when they're uncovering evidence that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and it shows that the town also has been blackballing the fuck out of her too. Because how dare you help these black people try to get these killers get out on the street and stuff, which that's something else that kind of hits hard, is like when people legit off to say, well, we're going to let these killers out here on the street?
Like, did you not hear any of the testimony? Does any of this stuff not make any sense to you as to why these guys are put in jail in the first place? Like, none of this is making any sense to you.
It's the system. And I think that's what makes the film really just raw, is that they hit on the fact that the system is just fucked from top to bottom.
I mean, and it makes sense because you're seeing a whole lot of the we still believe in Jim Crow era white folks in this movie.
I mean, and like you said, this takes place in the late 80s, going into the 90s and stuff. And like I said, Jamie does a phenomenal job as Walter. Like, I think we talked about at length. We just did Held Up. And I think we talked about how, like, there's different degrees of acting when it comes to Jamie. You know, because in this movie, it reminded me of Jamie and Ray, and even Collateral, which I need to rewatch again and stuff. I love Collateral. You seen Collateral, right?
Oh, dude, I love that movie.
Yeah, and it's like when Jamie, I feel when Jamie has direction, and it's like, all right, Jamie, we want you to do it this way, he shines.
Yeah. Proper direction, without like no need of mugging the camera.
Like when Scorsese was telling him, Scorsese did Collateral, right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So you could tell in that movie, Scorsese had a particular vision about what he wanted Jamie to be for that character, right? And even in Ray, the director was like, hey, we just want you to play Ray Charles this way. Don't go too crazy. You know, you don't want to get comedic with it, but you get that little bit of like humanity in it. And I think that's what works with him as Walter. You get that humanity and stuff. Like, and I think I love the fact that this movie avoids the trappings of having to make up shit.
That, and it also kind of, like, the other thing that they did very well, and I'm really, really glad that they didn't have to go down that trope, slave crying.
Yeah. True. Yeah,
they did. This movie had no slave crying whatsoever.
I mean, like
no slave crying. No 12 years of slave crying. No fences crying. Look, none of that.
There is what I like to dub. There is Denzel from Glory crying, like that silent tear of like, oh shit. And even like when you get to the end, this isn't really a spoiler because we know in real life when Walter finally gets off. I feel that it pays off so well because you're seeing all this, like you said, realistic buildup of what happens in the criminal justice system and what you have to do to get to this point. And you feel like this was a victory earned. It wasn't just, all right, because there's a point in the movie where you're thinking, you know, if this is any other movie, this would have been the ending right here.
Yeah. Like, and the thing is, when you're taking a lot of cues from, was it From a Time to Kill or... not to be taken seriously, but just going at it from a basic standpoint of My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
Where like you get to certain points in the movie and like, okay, we're finally at this scene. This is where we're going to see the ending. Nope. We're going into overtime.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy too? So this movie was directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. So if you don't know him, he's the one that's actually going to be directing the Shang-Chi movie.
Yeah.
And if you want to get a good idea of what he can do, this is the movie that can actually give you a good idea of what he's capable of. And for his first movie, it's actually pretty good. Yep, well, not his first movie because he did another one too. My bad.
He's also got another one on the books that he's trying to get out. The one with Ryan Coogler.
Yeah. What was it? What the hell was the name of it?
It was based on another real life person, another real life scenario.
Fred Hampton.
Yeah, Fred Hampton. Thank you.
Yeah. So like he did a really good job, and like I said, I think the like when you see the trailer at first, you're thinking it's going to be from the perspective of Bryan, and like I said, the fact that the movie decides, hey, you know what, we're going to show stuff that Bryan's doing, but we're going to still shift the focus onto Walter and his family. And I think that's what makes it work overall, is seeing Walter and, like I said, Jamie Foxx acting his ass off. Everybody across the board in this movie acted. Like, at no point in my feeling as though everybody was dialing it in. That's the other aspect of the movie I think is great.
Like, there was no dialing in. There really was none of that. Like, I really, like, none of it, like, you know how some people could say, oh, like, Jamie, when he's trying to be serious in the movie, it's always very heavy-handed, or he's
man.
or he's hamming it up for the screen or whatever. Yeah. No, like, because of our climate as, you know, like as Black Americans and like as being Black in America today, you know, this is something, again, going from late 80s, early 90s, it still relates today. Like, I've never been in this situation before, but you know the part right at the beginning of the movie when the cops stopped him And
they had him they had guns out, and the fact that off the break he had his hand on the fucking wheel was like, okay, I already know the deal.
like he had his hands on the wheel. Then when it comes to Michael B. Jordan, he gets put in that same situation. You see, dude, that one was probably more intense than Jamie's, because when you got the young cop
gun to head, man.
I mean, first of all, he walked out he gets out of the squad car with hand already on his pistol, just ready to pull it. So right there when I saw that, I was like, oh boy, here we go. Like, guaranteed.
My butt clenched a bit on that one. I was like, ooh.
I was like, I'm like, guaranteed we about to see a gun in somebody's face. I said, this man's gonna have a gun in his face. Like, it's coming. Boom. There it is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and like I said, you feel for Bryan, because it's like, that's a tense moment. At any point in time, he can die.
And then of course you heard him. Why'd you pull me over? Why'd you stop me?
Be thankful, boy.
My man said, we're letting you go. You should be thankful. I'm like, wow.
I mean, and that's why I say it's like, I think, and also too, the other mistake that most civil rights movies make the mistake of is that they, like I said, I think going back to the fact that they focus on the family, you really show who the real victims are. It's not just the person that's in jail. It's everybody surrounding it. Like you mentioned the whole thing with the family and the town. Like, everybody's a victim at that point, because if this dude is in jail, I can fucking go to jail on some bullshit.
I mean, then how about going back to when he was an intern and he was coming down to Alabama?
Oh,
he
man.
said,
yeah.
He told his mom, he said, I went down to the prison to meet like one of the inmates put on death row. And I saw a guy who was, seriously, he was no older than me. And the number one, like the one piece of news that I delivered to him was that he's not seeing any execution or any moves for execution for the next year.
Yeah.
And for his response to be, that is probably the best thing, like the best news I've heard, like the whole time I've been in here. Even for it to be a year.
I thought he was gonna deck his ass. I ain't gonna lie. For a second, I was like, is he gonna punch him? And just that, like you said, that relief of like, oh my God, I'm still alive.
Like, I am still alive for another year, which gives me gives me a chance. Hopefully, with the right lawyer, I can get out of here. And and I was interested in knowing, like, did he ever, like, because I really did want to know, like, what happened with that guy. But he did say that, like, right after he told him that news, my man was holding back them man tears, and
man,
he was holding back the man tears real hard. And then they were sitting there having a regular conversation, and he was like, "Wow, so this dude who's on death row was actually in the church choir."
They had a 2-hour conversation. That's crazy.
Had a 2-hour conversation. Super racist white cop comes in and says, conversation's supposed to end like 2 hours ago or something.
Why didn't you come in, motherfucker? Shit.
I'm like, why didn't you come in? Why didn't you say anything? My man just grabs him, jacks him up. He's like, dude, he's not even resisting. He's still in handcuffs. Like, was any of that necessary?
Didn't matter. Because, yeah,
Now, the one thing, something else I did like, because I kind of expected it. I always expected in movies like this, wherein the majority of the white cops in the movie are like super racist or, a racial profiling like crazy. You always gonna have that one white cop that even he knows that this is some BS. And like, look, I ain't like the rest of these dudes. I'm actually gonna try to give you a chance, because the scene in the courthouse in particular, you saw like his, like, what was it? Jamie's family saw Jamie inside the back of the car, right?
Yeah.
And the cop is just he's just standing guard, and he's like, "Got time to say hello if you want to." and of course, and I love how everybody in the theater, we went to see this. Everybody in the theater was like, "What? Oh man, like, yo, like, white dude is alright."
Well, I mean, that was the crazy part, because it's like you saw his like kind of like evolution.
Yeah, because he had he had that look that whole time like, okay, look, I get it. We supposed to be racist white cops, but come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so many moments where I was like, where I'm sitting there going, seriously? And it was more so for me of like all the new evidence that popped up.
Well, I mean, just the way that they figured it out. It was just like, because it's one thing to figure out, okay, there's holes in the story, but you still have to do some work. But the fact that there was like crazy amount of holes in the story that would make comic book writers blush.
Yeah,
it was crazy because it wasn't just like, oh, there was a couple of small things here and there. No, there was like, okay, how could he actually do it if he was at a fucking fish fry?
Not only that,
while also working on a truck.
Not only
no
that,
engine.
Not only that, who would believe this?
White people down south that want justice for a 18-year-old white chick.
Especially, you know what?
I'm just saying.
No. Anyone know what's really sad? I'm gonna say something, and it might sound mean, but it's also gonna be the truth. I guarantee you, that half of them people that that heard about it, didn't even know who that white girl was.
They just heard it was a white girl, and that's it.
Yeah, they just know it's a white girl in their town that got murdered. I'm like, you didn't even know who she was. Was she somebody famous? Well, not even famous. I mean, was she just somebody known, mildly known? I mean, come on. Did she babysit your kids at one point in time? I mean, like, who was she to you besides another white woman in a white town?
Yeah, and I mean, that's the crazy part. That's in essence, that's the crazy part about this movie is just like when you see, again, just you get to the end of the movie and stuff, and they start hitting up on the kind of like what Bryan did afterwards. How many people did he got off death row?
Yeah,
because of that, because I always sat there and said I feel the advent of DNA evidence kind of opened the door to a lot of people's convictions being overturned that were just thrown in jail on shoddy evidence.
Exactly. And when cases like this, like where they actually went back and got the dude who put him in that situation to begin with, when he heard the tape of him saying, look, I know nothing about this. First, he actually got the confession out of him in prison. Then he goes back to get the his statement, finds the cassette tapes, listens to all of them. I guarantee you, from that one shot you see of Michael was looking so intense when he heard that one line, right?
It's just the revelation that all that evidence didn't get used. That was crazy.
None of that evidence was used. They were just doing what they needed to do to get a poor black man from the poor neighborhood thrown in prison.
Yeah.
For nothing. And
it's a deep South, man. And it's crazy. Like, it's one thing to have it happen up here in up north, but to see it, I mean, we shouldn't be shocked that it happens in the deep South because, as much as people sit there and say it's a stereotype in the deep South, it's the truth.
It is.
And but like I said, have we gotten better? Yeah, but there's still bullshit there. But, it's not entirely shocking that it happened in the deep South and the way everything is and the way the criminal justice system down there was just jank as fuck back then.
I mean, they did not care like how half-baked or contrived somebody's statement sounded. If it was like they could have sneezed and pointed and be like, "Yep, black guy's guilty." Like, but none of this makes sense.
Yeah, but like I said, at the end of the day, they just wanted to get it straight to the point and make it clean, even though it's never going to be clean.
Yep. And now after they got Myers' information, they got his testimony. He even got him to appear in court just to get the case overturned. And he said it himself. He said, "Look, man. Hold on, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry."
So he says, So he says that at first you notice that, he got the information out of him outside of court. He's like, look, I'll say it, I guess I'll do what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
The part that made me laugh, honestly, was, and it was because I called it when we were sitting in the theater, because he goes, look, I don't want to talk about him. Like, to be honest, like, look, if we want to talk about anything else, we can talk about anything else. I love to talk. Right there when he said that, I said, big mistake. You admitted that you love to talk. All Michael B. Jordan got to do is just talk around you.
Mm-hmm.
Sure enough, he pulls out, and when he pulled out the book, I imitated him and said, "What's that?" Literally 2 seconds after I said that, he said it. CJ is dying over here.
Yeah, like, I'm so mad because I'm just sitting there like, well, that happened, and it's, yeah. I mean, it is what it is and stuff. What can you do? Because my thing was, it was always like you can kind of project and see where something's gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, all of a sudden it's like, how did I not sit there and see that happen? And it's like, okay, well, of course that happened. Why wouldn't it happen?
And after all that stuff was pulled out, and he said, okay, fine. Did you like the look of fear that he had in his eyes when he noticed that the cops that he pretty much told that bold-faced lie to, how they were just staring at him? I mean, dude, if their eyes were gun barrels, they were pointed straight at him like, dude, if you sell us out.
Oh, you're fucking dead. You are fucking dead, sir, if you do this shit.
And of course, Michael noticing, so that's what's going on here. This is why you can't answer the question. I got you. All right, here's what
understand.
Here's what we about to do. Here's what we about to do. I'm gonna step right in front of you, and I'm gonna have you say it. And even with all of that, when dude actually admitted it, it was denied.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm like, yo, Supreme Court, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what you assume is gonna go at. It's like, it's gonna go to Supreme Court. It is going to go to Supreme Court. And yeah, I mean, it's. Yeah, this movie, it's definitely something. D, kind of said he didn't want to do it and stuff, and I get it because, you never want to go into these movies feeling depressed and stuff. And like, it was interesting, not interesting, but like when we were in the theater watching it and stuff, seeing a lot of people, like, the emotions were to different degrees of responses to everything, whether it was laughing at certain things or... I'm pretty sure there was some people in there crying. I heard some sniffles in there.
Oh, man, people was crying.
Yeah, and and just anger, and you saw all the emotions and stuff, and that's what you react out of it. It's and not because we were shocked that it happened. It's like, no, we already know this shit happens, but it's just to see it in its raw form and not just be played up for dramatics. It's like, no, this shit really did fucking happen.
I mean, we saw it in this raw form, and it's it's relatable to today.
Yeah.
That crap is still relevant to this day.
Mm-hmm. And
let's go ahead and get this elephant out of the room. The execution scene.
Yeah, the build up to it was crazy because here you have these people on death row and they're cool with each other, right?
Yep. And
it's just, and like I said, I ain't gonna spoil who it is and stuff because when you see it, it's really gonna hit home. But they have this connection. And like we mentioned before, Bryan was trying to get him off and everything. And it was just the reality of who this person was and his background and just how society more or less failed him.
Yeah, very much.
So yeah.
Just to see him get thrown away like that was just terrible. And I mean, and it just goes to show you that, what happens when when you put your life on the line for something, and when your time is finished, society just throws you away. They don't try to
shit.
They don't care about what happened to you after the fact.
Yeah,
it's like pat on the back, hearty handshake, and let him go. But he's got some serious psychological problems. Like, we should help him. Nah, he's all right. Like he's all right. Give him a pickup truck and a ham sandwich. He good.
Damn, dude.
He should be thankful for the pickup truck.
I'm thankful. All right, shit. I mean,
but no. In reality, I'm just gonna speak. Like I'm gonna speak on a like from the production side of things, like from a cinematic point of view. The way that they shot that was really unbelievable. I mean,
yeah.
You felt the emotional weight that was going into that scene. Like, bro, this is really about to go down, and I could hear it from some I kind of heard it from some people. Like some people in the theater was like, "Don't show it, don't show it." Like, just don't show it. Like, we don't want to see it actually go down. I mean, come on, we've seen execution scenes in movies before. Like, I think the one that kind of hits people a lot, like that hits people pretty hard, was Homeboy's execution from The Green Mile.
Yeah, that's the famous one. But this one was just, again, it's raw.
Yeah,
it's raw. There's no like heightened sense of like, oh, it's just it's this larger than life thing. It's like, no, this shit fucking happened. Like
this actually happened. So and it sucks that it happened, but
yeah, I mean, just like I said, it like when they hit you on them like on that level, it hits. And like I said, when you see, and I think this movie, it's different than the book. I'm not saying that like it's different than the book, like the way Bryan wrote it in his memoir and stuff. It's a little bit more detailed on certain aspects and stuff. And I feel this movie was just, the movie hit on one aspect of what Bryan did and stuff. Because even down to the 60-minute interview, which I actually, after we saw the movie, I watched it and I was like, oh, okay, that everything played out on a 60-minute movie just like the movie showed it.
Yep.
And it was great. Like I said, they really made sure to hit you on every aspect of what this trial took to get to where it's at and stuff. And like I said, they nailed it. Like, honestly, I don't know if this movie is going to inherently open anybody to like, oh, now I know the injustices, because I mean, society is what it is, and whatever people take away from this movie, they're going to take away from it. If they think it's just a regular run-of-the-mill Oscar movie, fine. But if they kind of take away from it about like where the criminal justice system is, then hey, cool, you know.
And to be honest, I really think that's kind of unfair for people to make that assumption that this is like a typical run-of-the-mill Oscar. You know, like this movie is chasing an Oscar.
Yeah,
I really don't think that that's the case. You know, because while a lot of people just stayed for the movie and then they just rolled out and went home.
Yeah,
CJ and I, we stuck around for the panel, and there was some gems that was dropped at that panel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of stuff that we had heard. I could tell just from listening to everybody that was involved with the film that you guys aren't chasing an Oscar. I mean, yeah, you wanted to tell a story, but you also wanted to paint a very, very visual picture, a very real picture of something that happened, 20, 30 years ago, and how it's still relevant to this day.
Yeah.
And the number one question that was asked, and it's always asked in situations like this, especially after you see this movie, is how do we move forward?
Yeah. How?
Yeah. That is the number one burning question, is how do we move forward from this? I mean, because be real, CJ, the odds are always going to be stacked against us.
Yeah.
Because of who we are in this society, no matter what we try to get on our side, the odds are always going to be stacked against us.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's yeah. So
I mean, people say, and I do believe it, and I do believe it to this day. Like with everything that we've gone through as a race, that the black man in America is the most difficult thing to be, like bar none.
I mean, being black, period. Honestly, I mean, it's.
But being black in America, is like number one most difficult.
Oh yeah, and I mean, this movie definitely doesn't BS on that. So yeah, and
it just goes, and you also see it with Michael. Like when Michael, you saw how he went through the motions of, okay, like they want to push, I'm gonna push back.
Oh yeah, he got his shit together on that one. He was like, all right, Bet. Got you.
Like, all right, like you want to, it's like you want to come. Anyway, you come swinging with fists. I come back with a bat. And like you come back to me with a knife. I come back with a gun. And if you come back and like come to me with a gun, boy, you better kill me because I'm gonna keep coming back until this whole thing is done.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah. So I'm sitting at a 9 on this movie. Easy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I really was gonna give this a 9, a solid 9.
Yo, this is a solid 9 easily. I mean, it's definitely great. It drops Christmas.
Yeah, it drops this Christmas, and the reason why I'm giving this movie a 9, while other people would give, movies like Fences, 12 Years a Slave, and stuff like that a 10, and all that. I give this movie a 9, but it's an honest 9 because you didn't go for any of the tropes.
Yeah.
See, movies that are chasing, I was, okay, and again, I always say, I just said it is unfair, but I can see the tropes of movies that get that earn that Oscar. When you got to do the slave crime, when you got to do the oppression crime, when you got to do any of that type of crime,
Ooh.
you're going, I do believe that somebody was going after an Academy Award, an Oscar, or whatever the case. But this movie exhibited none of that.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, man. They did it. And
so to put things on the lighter side, so are you trying to tell me that if the death penalty was to be like instated, like, would you go for it if he was truly found guilty? Yeah, I would. Cut to the wife.
The wife looked so fucking like, are you fucking serious?
Like, she just gave him that look. She didn't have to say a word. It was just that look.
I mean,
really?
I mean, it's oof, yeah.
At dinner time, in front of our kids, really?
Gonna do that in front of my salad. Anyway, folks. Anyways,
there was a peach pie. Like, look, there was a peach pie in the oven. I don't even want to eat it.
Anyways, folks. Yeah, Just Mercy. Definitely go check it out. Come Christmas time, it's definitely worth a watch.
Absolutely. Please watch this movie. Go see it in Christmas. We posted up on our Instagram and Twitter and stuff. Definitely check out the trailer. I know that's available. Just if you need some, if you need like a clip or something, just check it out.
And even read the book if you want more frame of reference and stuff. So
that too. There's a lot of information in the book that again, some of it gets explained, some of it doesn't.
Yeah. So that in mind, we catch you guys later. Peace out.
Done.
Phoebe.